Hey, Jeff Hardy, we knew this was going to happen. He's
Yep.
with AEW. No surprise. I've said AEW signs too many guys, and I stand by that. But you got to sign Jeff Hardy. There's only one Jeff
Abs-
Hardy.
absolutely. Jeff's one of the elite guys in the history of our business. And he's been around a long time. He's just as good as he ever was.
I agree. Just as good as he ever was. And very few guys can say that. You could say that back at Jeff's age, but very few can.
Mm-hmm. No, Jeff, every time he's sustained, he's had some horrible injuries, but he, by the grace of God, has been able to heal up and come back, and he never loses his figure, or never loses his level of conditioning. His physique looks good, and he's just a very colorful individual. I think that, the fans love him. He sells a ton of merchandise. So I mean, I'm just happy. I like the Hardys period, but I'm really happy to see Jeff back up and running.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad he's back on TV so quickly after leaving WWE. He had the no compete that kept him off, but WWE tried to, make him the bad guy and him leaving. And, I think they, however, intentionally misdiagnosed what was wrong with him. I'm just glad to see him up and running.
Me too. I'm a big fan of Jeff as I am Matt. So I look forward to I'll look forward to seeing them on TV. They can put Jeff Hardy and Matt on, and I like the stuff they're doing with Manny.
Yep.
On Andrade as well with Matt. So
Well, that's the feud now, I guess, right?
yeah,
It's them against Andrade's group. That'll be hot.
yes, very nice.
Now, we talked about this a couple weeks.
And some really good matches.
Yep.
Andrade's a working fool, man.
No question.
Yeah, he
No
can work
question.
his ass off.
One of the very best. The Hardys are two of the very best. It's going to be really something to see. And a couple weeks back, Nate, we talked about this, but let's refresh the memory of those partaking today. Do you like the Hardys as a tag team, or do you like using Jeff as a single? Within the context of what they have in AEW, what's the value there?
Well, the luxury of Jeff, just because he, been featured more as a single, I think, than Matt. I don't know why, but I think the value is that Jeff can go either way, he can be the championship contender in a championship contention match, or contender for the championship, and he and Matt can be a great tag team. I mean, they have the luxury both with it. Jeff is a big plus and a huge sign for them.
Yeah, my instinct is I would go with the Hardys as a tag initially, and then, pull Jeff out for, like you said, big time singles matches. But I might go with the Hardys initially as a tag team.
Yeah, but
You can't go wrong, can you?
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Jeff. That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's so many things you can do with him, and Jeff can't get enough TV. I mean, and he'll be selling a ton of merchandise for him.
Now, let's say they go with the Hardys as a tag team, because obviously that's going to happen, whether regularly, right away, later on, sporadically, it's going to happen. Who would you like to see the Hardys have matches with down there? Because there's so many great possibilities.
Oh God, I'm not familiar enough with all the guys' names, but they have a great match for those guys.
Yeah, you see, I'm glad you said that right off the bat. That's my instinct is that FTR
Yeah,
and the Hardys, their styles would mesh perfectly. I
yeah,
think the Hardys and Young Bucks would have a great match too, and they
yep,
have had it in Ring of Honor, but their styles are similar. That's not bad, but they're similar. I just think FTR with the context of the Hardys, the way they work would be awesome.
yeah. I like the guys that are strong on the ground and just as well as guys that can work and fly like Jeff and Matt. But
Now,
I think that I like where the Usos can do both, but the Usos are really, really strong on the mat as well. And like
you
FTR.
you bring up a good point. The Usos can do both, and I think that's what makes them elite as much as anybody.
Yes. And
Now,
they're big.
yes, absolutely. And they have the connection with Roman. Just so much to like about that whole act. Now, Cody Rhodes has not yet signed with WWE. Do you expect him to show up at WrestleMania? What seems to be going on there? I can't get a read.
I have no idea either. He has not signed with them for sure.
For sure has not. At least not been announced, certainly.
Huh. I have no idea. I could ask, but I just, kind of leave. We chatted via text when heard that he left, but I have not asked him lately what's going on. I'll just wait to be surprised. He's in a good place. He and Brandy are very happy. They got a baby. I'm sure he's okay financially. That's what matters. He'll make the right decision.
Oh no, I'm sure he will. But like, and maybe this is the cynic in me, or maybe the realist. When you leave one, you have to have a landing spot with the other, or you wouldn't leave the one. Now, maybe he would. Maybe he's happy. Maybe he's going to be a stay-home dad for a long time. But I just can't believe something wasn't prearranged that exists now and we don't know about. And it would not shock me at all if he showed up at Mania.
Wouldn't shock me either. I think it'd be great. Maybe they'll shoot him right into an angle, which is a great way to get a guy started, because he certainly doesn't need miscellaneous TV time.
No, they know who he is, don't they?
Absolutely.
You see,
Absolutely.
whenever I think about Cody, I always think what Dusty would do.
Yeah.
And Dusty, leaving AEW after creating it, that's something he would do. And showing up at Mania is something he would do. It
Yeah.
reeks of Dusty.
Yep. Well, thing of it is, what I like to hear is Dusty Davis still be mentioned.
No question. No question. And it always
Yep.
will be.
Yep.
Now, Nate,